This is a slightly higher detail, less rapid walkthrough of the Turkish getup. I will touch on a few tips along the way that might help you, but don't worry too much about getting everything perfect on every single rep, especially if they're your first time doing a getup. At the end of the day, you will develop familiarity with this through repetition, and they'll get better and better, more efficient, stronger as you go. So, weights, you can either use a dumbbell or a kettlebell in a racked position on your hand. We're going to start, just like every rep of a get up, we're going to start lying on the floor. First thing to do is push that weight overhead. From here on out, this arm stays straight the entire time, and that weight stays directly above my head the whole time. I'm actually, for the majority of the rep, going to be looking at the weight to help facilitate it staying overhead. From here, I'm going to bend my leg on the same side as the weight. I'm going to really plant my foot. I'm going to get some pushing power through that foot in a moment. My other arm is going to go out to a 45-degree angle. You've got a bit of wiggle room there. Play with what feels best, but probably doesn't want to be all the way out to the side. It also doesn't want to be all the way down by your hip, somewhere in between. Our first step is not to sit up forwards, it's actually to roll sideways over that arm. So now my chest is facing the camera, I'm facing the side. I'm still looking up at the weight if I'm in my rep, and that made it much easier to get my weight up off the ground rather than trying to sit straight up. From there, we go up to more of a straight seated position by coming up to the hand on the floor. Now I'm going to create a bridge out of my grounded foot and my grounded hand and lift my bum off the floor, strong shoulder, scoot that leg back and plant it 90 degrees relative to the front foot. This is going to be really helpful in a moment, but this position here is really strong because the weight is directly above my shoulders and my shoulders are directly above my grounded hand. From here, I'm going to come up above the hips. So I've got a really good glute squeeze, strong position here. Then I'm going to pivot on the knee. So I'm in my lunge position. Then I'm going to stand up tall. And this last part is probably the only time you want to stop looking at the weight. To reverse, I want to make sure that I step far enough back to then be able to pivot the knee and have this 90 degrees, because if I don't step far enough back, if I just step a little bit back, then I end up in this really short base, which is very wobbly and also very hard at this point to get my leg through. So I'm going to, from the top, step back to a long lunge, lower down, pivot on the knee. Next step is to replant the hand. Don't be tempted to go back behind you like that. We're actually reaching down to the side again. Hand wants to plant more sort of in line with our knee there. Then from here, create the bridge, scoot it through, lower down, bum to floor, down to the elbow. Again, my chest is now facing out to the side, and then I can roll down to the ground there. To swap hands, when it becomes heavy weight, we don't want to do this like funky joggle above our faces. It's best to bring it down to the chest, roll it out to the side, use both hands to drag it round to your other side, grab it with the new hand, pick it up, push it overhead, swap our legs. You can even, if you want to, if you're using weight that is really heavy and you actually can't press overhead, you can use your other hand to get it up to that stable position there and then continue with your rep from there. There are lots of other details that become relevant to different individuals based on your limb length or how you're moving, how you're restricted, how you're not restricted, but I won't overload you with too many things right now. Happy getting up.